They told you that you could wait. They told you that life would give you second chances, that doors would open and close as if destiny was a revolving gate. But they lied. Success is not a hallway lined with opportunities. Success is a fortress with one entrance, and when you step inside, the door slams shut behind you. There is no back door. There is no exit. You either conquer the fortress or you are crushed by it. This is the truth that separates the average from the extraordinary, the hesitant from the decisive, the many who wish from the few who achieve. History is built on men and women who understood this principle. Burn the ships, cut the ties, destroy the excuses. Hernan Courts landed on foreign soil with an army outnumbered and told them, burn the ships. Why? Because retreat was no longer an option, and in that moment, fear was transformed into fuel. The same is true for you. The timid wait for guarantees. The bold create guarantees by refusing to go back. You cannot keep one foot in safety and the other in greatness. You cannot cling to comfort and reach for power at the same time. If you want success, you must declare to life itself, I will either win or be broken trying. That is the language the universe respects. That is the frequency of wealth, power, influence, and destiny. Think of Edison. How many thousands of experiments failed before the light bulb was born? He did not keep an escape plan tucked neatly in his pocket. He did not say, if this fails, I will simply quit. He lived and breathed the mission, until the mission itself bowed to his persistence. Ford dreamed of cars for the masses, laughed at by experts, sabotaged by circumstance. Yet he kept hammering the vision into reality. Carnegie saw steel empires before others even saw the possibility. Walt Disney went bankrupt, humiliated, betrayed, yet his vision of magic endured because he refused to retreat. The titans of history all operated on the same truth. There is no back door, but here you are, standing on the edge of your own decision. Maybe you feel the weight of doubt pressing down on your shoulders. Maybe your past whispers, stay where it's safe. Maybe the world tells you, don't risk too much, don't dream too big. But bro, safety is an illusion. Comfort is the enemy of growth. Every moment you delay, you reinforce the chains that hold you back. Your mind is a battlefield. The war is not with the world, not with your competitors, not with the economy. The war is with your own hesitation, your own excuses, your own belief that tomorrow will be kinder. No, tomorrow does not exist for those who fail to seize today. If you are not willing to burn the bridges behind you, you are already defeated. Imagine this clearly. You are standing before two doors. One is familiar safety, routine, mediocrity. Behind it lies the life you already know. The same bills, the same doubts, the same small circle of comfort. The other door, unknown, dangerous, filled with risk, but also with the possibility of glory, wealth, freedom, mastery. Which door will you choose? And know this, once you step through the second door, the first disappears. No back door, no retreat. This is not about reckless ambition. This is about conviction. This is about saying, I have decided, and nothing in this world will stop me, because decision is power. Napoleon Hill wrote, definiteness of decision always requires courage, sometimes very great courage. Why? Because most of humanity lives in hesitation. They linger, they wait, they seek permission from life, as if life owes them clarity. But clarity comes after the decision, not before. You must decide who you are before the world recognizes it. You must declare yourself wealthy before the bank account agrees. You must believe you are destined before destiny reveals itself. Belief is the hammer that shapes reality. The decision is the fire that tempers the steel of your will. And action consists of disciplined action is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. To ask yourself now, are you willing to burn the ships? Are you willing to cut the rope that ties you to average? Are you willing to step into the fortress of success knowing the walls are high, the climb is brutal, and the only alternatives are victory or collapse? If the answer is yes, then everything changes. The hesitation dies. The excuses dissolve. The path, though difficult, becomes simple. One direction. Forward. The world does not reward those who wait. It rewards those who commit. It rewards those who endure. It rewards those who declare there is no back door. I will enter, or I will be crushed, but I will not retreat. And in that declaration, something awakens inside you. A new energy, a force you did not know you carried. That force is your potential, and it has been waiting for this moment. When you decide, truly decide, the world bends in strange ways. It's as if unseen forces begin rearranging themselves in your favor. Opportunities appeared where before there was only emptiness. People cross your path who carry the exact knowledge or resources you lacked. The doors open that were once sealed shut. This is not magic, it is alignment. It is what Napoleon Hill called the burning desire that magnetizes circumstances toward you. When your mind becomes single-minded, the universe responds with clarity. But most people never reach that level of desire. They play with their dreams as if they are toys, not weapons. They dabble, they test the waters. They say, I'll try. And I'll try is the language of failure. You cannot try to climb Mount Everest. You either climb or you turn back. You cannot try to live with purpose. You either live with fire or you drift in shadows. The greatest trap of this era is distraction. You have been conditioned to scatter your focus across 1,000 meaningless pursuits, scrolling, comparing, gossiping, waiting. But wealth is born from focus. Success is the child of discipline. Purpose is the flame that cannot be extinguished by the winds of distraction. Do you understand, bro? If you don't take command of your mind, the world will. If you don't build your dream, you'll be hired to build another man's empire. Lincoln did not lead a divided nation by half deciding. Carnegie did not create steel empires by half dreaming. Edison did not light the world by half believing. They all stood on the edge of the cliff, burned the bridges behind them, and declared, "I will go forward, even if it breaks me." That spirit is what moves mountains. That energy is what turns impossibility into inevitability. Look closely at your own life. Where are the back doors you've left open? The excuses you've built in advance? The safety nets disguised as wisdom? If this doesn't work, I can always go back. If I fail, I can always retreat. These words sound reasonable, but they are poison. They are the reason most people never taste greatness. Because as long as an exit exists, the mind will use it. And if the mind uses it, you will never summon the power required to break through. Think of a soldier who knows there is no retreat. His focus sharpens. His courage multiplies. His very heartbeat becomes a weapon. That is the energy you must carry into your goals, into your business, into your art, into your destiny. Because when there is no back door, your only choice is victory. Success demands sacrifice. Not the sacrifice of everything, but the sacrifice of comfort, the sacrifice of mediocrity, the sacrifice of your old self. You must shed who you were to become who you are meant to be. A snake must shed its skin to grow. A seed must die to the earth before it can rise as a tree. Transformation always comes at the price of the past. And most people are too in love with their past to ever step into their future. But not you. You are here, listening, because something inside of you is restless. Something inside you knows that life is more than this daily routine, more than survival, more than bills and deadlines and quiet desperation. Something inside you knows you were built for greatness, designed for mastery, created to lead. That voice inside you, it is the voice of destiny, and it will not let you rest until you listen. You must silence the world to hear it. You must shut out the noise, the chatter, the fear. You must withdraw into the solitude of your own mind and listen carefully. For in that silence, clarity will rise. And when clarity rises, doubt disappears. The reason most people hesitate is because they are surrounded by noise. Too many opinions, too many comparisons, too many distractions. But the masters of history all knew how to isolate themselves long enough to hear their own vision. Edison shut himself in laboratories for days. Carnegie studied relentlessly, absorbing knowledge like air. Lincoln wrestled in solitude with the weight of his decisions. Disney walked alone with impossible dreams only he could see. They all listened to the inner command louder than the voices of the world. And that is what you must do. Once you hear that voice, you must obey it. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready now. Because readiness is an illusion. Nobody is ready for greatness. They step forward, trembling, uncertain, afraid. But the act of stepping forward makes them ready. Confidence is not the cause of action, it is the result. Discipline is not born from comfort, it is forged in discomfort. Vision is not clear at the beginning, it sharpens as you walk the path. So step, even when your knees shake, even when your heart races, even when you don't know if you will make it. Step because standing still is death. Step because retreat is no longer possible. This step because success has no back door you must enter or you will be crushed. And if you are crushed, so be it. Better to fall with courage than to rot in safety. Better to burn with vision than to suffocate in comfort. Better to chase destiny and fail than to live a lifetime of regret wondering what could have been. That, bro, is the price of greatness. And only the brave are willing to pay it. When you choose the path of no retreat, the fire inside you begins to change shape. At first, it is a spark, fragile, trembling, threatened by every gust of fear and doubt. But the longer you guard it, the more you feed it, the more it grows into a flame, then a blaze, then an inferno. That fire is your belief, and belief is the most powerful force in the world. Belief took a barefoot boy named Abraham Lincoln, born in a cabin of rough logs, and raised him into the White House. Belief carried Andrew Carnegie, a poor immigrant working in factories, to become the steel king who shaped an empire. Belief allowed Thomas Edison to see light in a world of darkness, Walt Disney to see castles before a single brick was laid, and Henry Ford to see millions of cars before a single wheel rolled across dirt. Belief precedes achievement. Belief precedes wealth. Belief precedes greatness. You become what you believe, not what you hope for, not what you occasionally dream about when life gets heavy. What you believe. And belief is not a gentle wish, it is a declaration, a demand you place on reality, an oath you sign with blood and sweat. When you say to life, I will, and then live in alignment with that declaration, reality has no choice but to bend. But here is the problem. Most people's belief system is too small to contain greatness. They believe in survival, not success. They believe in limitation, not abundance. They believe in excuses more than they believe in execution. And because they believe small, they live small. That's why Napoleon Hill's timeless command still rings across generations. Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. The conception is the vision, the belief is the fire, and the achievement is the inevitable fruit. You must guard your belief like a treasure chest, because the world will try to rob you of it. Friends will doubt you, family will question you, society will label you unrealistic, fear will whisper that you are not enough. And if you allow those voices to enter your belief system, they will poison the seed of greatness before it grows. Protect your mind like a fortress. Fortify it with discipline, feed it with vision, strengthen it with gratitude, for what you believe is the soil from which your destiny grows. Think of the farmer. He plants seeds not because he sees crops in the soil, but because he believes the harvest will come. He waters, he tends, he waits, and eventually, his belief in the unseen becomes the abundance of the seen. Success works the same way. You plant the seed of vision, you water it with discipline, you protect it from the weeds of doubt, and eventually you harvest what others said was impossible. Yet belief alone is not enough. The world is littered with dreamers who believed but never acted, who wished but never worked, who hoped but never hammered. Belief must be married to discipline. Discipline is the proof that your belief is real. If you believe you are destined for greatness but you sleep while others grind, your belief is an illusion. If you say you are committed but abandon your vision at the first obstacle, your belief is hollow. True belief is tested in fire. Discipline is not glamorous. It is the alarm clock before sunrise. It is the hours of practice no one applauds. It is the rejection letters that sting but do not stop you. It is the loneliness of walking a path few understand, but it is also the bridge to everything you want. Without discipline, desire is nothing more than smoke. With discipline, desire becomes steel. Consider Edison again. 10,000 failed experiments were not setbacks, they were proof of his discipline. Each attempt was a brick laid on the road to inevitability. Consider Carnegie's rise from rags was not sudden luck, but years of disciplined study, disciplined reinvestment, disciplined expansion. Consider Ford. His vision of affordable cars was impossible until his relentless discipline in manufacturing created the assembly line that revolutionized the world. Your belief is the fire, your discipline is the hammer, and your destiny is the sword forged between the two. But hear this, bro. The sword is only sharp if it is tested. Life will test you. Life will place you in the furnace of adversity. Life will strike you with setbacks, losses, betrayals, and failures, not to destroy you, but to harden you, because no warrior ever won a battle without first enduring training, and your struggles are training. Most people see adversity as a signal to quit. They see failure as evidence they are not worthy. They see pain as punishment, but the giants of history knew better. Adversity is not punishment, it is preparation. Failure is not evidence of weakness, it is proof of progress. Pain is not cruelty, it is the cost of greatness. Every hardship you face is the universe asking, how badly do you want it? And only those who answer with persistence earn the crown. Do not fear the furnace. Do not resist the fire. Walk into it knowing it is shaping you, burning away weakness, refining your strength, sharpening your mind. Just as gold is purified by flame, your destiny is purified by trials. The easy path never made a champion. The comfortable road never made a leader. The shallow waters never revealed the depth of a soul. You must be tested. And when you are tested, you must not retreat, because remember, success has no back door. When you understand that success has no back door, your entire relationship with fear changes. Fear stops being an enemy and becomes a compass. Fear points directly toward the place where your growth lives. If you are afraid of speaking in public, it means your voice carries the potential to influence thousands. If you fear failure, it means greatness is hidden behind your willingness to fail forward. If you fear rejection, it means your destiny is tied to doors that will only open after you knock long enough. Fear is not a signal to retreat. It is a call to advance. Most of humanity runs from fear, but the few who conquer life run toward it, because they know fear marks the territory of transformation. Fear is the guard dog at the gates of fortune, and only those who face it walk through. Do you think Edison wasn't afraid? Do you think Lincoln didn't tremble? Do you think Disney never doubted? They all walked into arenas filled with fear. But here's the difference. They moved anyway. They did not wait for the absence of fear. They acted in spite of it. That is courage. Courage is not the elimination of fear, it is motion in the presence of fear. And courage, stacked day after day, becomes confidence. Confidence is not a gift. Confidence is not a genetic trait. Confidence is a reward for those who dare. Each time you do what you fear, you steal its power and claim it as your own. Each time you act without retreat, your spine straightens, your voice steadies, your energy rises, and one day, without even noticing, you look back and realize the fear that once crippled you is now a memory. That is how champions are made. But courage alone will not carry you. You must be guided by vision. Vision is the map that gives your courage direction. Vision is the North Star that keeps you from drifting into distractions. Without vision, even the most courageous will burn their energy in meaningless battles. With vision, every action, every sacrifice, every hardship aligns into purpose. Do you have a vision for your life, bro? Not a vague wish, not a foggy hope, but a clear, burning picture of the future you demand. Can you see it in your mind so vividly that it feels more real than the circumstances you're in right now? Because until you see it within, you will never hold it without. Napoleon Hill called it definiteness of purpose, and definiteness of purpose is the seed of every empire, every fortune, every revolution that ever reshaped the world. Think of Disney. Before Disneyland existed, before the first castle stood, before the world knew his name, Walt carried a vision in his imagination so powerful that no amount of failure, bankruptcy, or betrayal could erase it. He walked through financial ruin, through humiliation, through doubt, but he never surrendered the vision. And because the vision lived inside him, eventually it became reality outside him. That is the power of vision. It is a world inside you that is waiting to become the world around you. And the clearer that vision is, the more magnetic it becomes. Your mind begins to see opportunities aligned with it. Your body begins to move in harmony with it. Your energy begins to attract people who are drawn to it. Vision is gravity, it pulls destiny toward you. But vision without purpose is fragile. Purpose is what makes vision eternal. Vision answers, what do I see? Purpose answers, why must I see it come to life? Vision inspires you. Purpose sustains you. Vision excites you when the sun shines. Purpose carries you when the storms rage. Without purpose, you will abandon your vision at the first taste of pain. With purpose, you will endure fire, ridicule, loneliness, and still keep walking. Purpose is not found, it is chosen. People waste years waiting for purpose to reveal itself, but purpose is not a lightning strike. Purpose is a decision. It is the declaration, this is why I am here. This is what my life will mean. This is what I will give to the world, no matter what it costs me. That is purpose. And once chosen, it becomes unshakable. Carnegie's purpose was not just steal, it was building the backbone of a nation. Lincoln's purpose was not just politics, it was the survival of freedom itself. Edison's purpose was not just inventions, it was light for humanity. Disney's purpose was not just entertainment, it was wonder, imagination, magic for generations. Their purposes were so much greater than themselves that they could not quit, even when quitting would have been easier. What about you? What is your purpose? What vision do you see so vividly that you cannot ignore it? What fire burns so fiercely that no failure can extinguish it? If you cannot answer yet, listen deeply, search within. Because once you find or decide your purpose, you will never again need motivation. Purpose will wake you up. Purpose will drive you. Purpose will outlast fear, fatigue, and failure. And when purpose and vision unite, discipline becomes natural. You no longer have to force yourself to work, you are pulled into it. You no longer need to beg yourself for consistency. You cannot live without it. You no longer see sacrifice as loss, you see it as investment. This is the zone where the extraordinary live. This is the state where backdoors vanish. And only one path remains. Forward, upward, onward. Remember this truth. Life respects the man or woman who burns the ships, who chooses vision over comfort, purpose over safety, courage over fear. Life bows to those who refuse to retreat, because life itself is a battle, and only warriors of purpose win. Once you've anchored yourself in vision and purpose, the battlefield becomes clear. It is not out there, it is within. The enemy is not the critic, not the competitor, not the economy. It is the weaker version of you that begs for retreat. It is the inner voice that whispers, take it easy, you've done enough, you can always try again tomorrow. That voice is the back door in disguise, and if you listen to it, you will fail before the world even challenges you. This is why discipline is sacred. Discipline is the daily declaration that you will not listen to the weaker voice. Discipline is the execution of your higher self's command, even when the body resists, even when the mind pleads for comfort. Discipline is not punishment, it is freedom. Freedom from chaos. Freedom from inconsistency. Freedom from regret. The man without discipline is a slave to his emotions. The man with discipline becomes the master of his destiny. Napoleon Hill wrote that riches do not respond to wishes. They respond only to definite plans backed by definite action. Discipline is that action repeated relentlessly until the vision is undeniable. Think of Henry Ford. His factories did not appear by chance. They appeared through disciplined innovation, disciplined reinvestment, disciplined improvement every single day. Discipline built an empire, but discipline alone, without adaptability, becomes rigidity, and rigidity snaps under pressure. The world changes, circumstances shift, markets evolve, obstacles rise. The rigid man resists change and breaks. The adaptable man bends, learns, pivots, and conquers. Adaptability is not weakness, it is strength. It is the river that wears down stone, the wind that reshapes mountains. It is why the most resilient survive while others vanish. Lincoln adapted through endless setbacks in politics before destiny raised him to the presidency. Edison adapted through thousands of failures until the light bulb burned bright. Disney adapted every time bankruptcy knocked him down. Adaptability is proof that your commitment is stronger than your ego. You don't need the path to look how you imagined, you just need to keep moving toward the vision, no matter how many times the route changes. And when adaptability meets resilience, the impossible becomes inevitable. Resilience is the refusal to die. It is the decision that no matter how many blows life lands, you will rise one more time. Resilience is not glamorous. It looks like failure after failure, rejection after rejection, humiliation after humiliation. But behind the scars, resilience whispers, "Not yet. I'm not finished, bro." Think of the inventors, the leaders, the builders of empires. How many times they were told no. How many times they were betrayed. How many times they faced ruin. Yet each time they rose again. Why? Because they understood the truth. Success has no back door. If they did not rise, they would be crushed. If they gave up, their vision would die, and they chose resurrection over retreat. Resilience is the steel in your spine. It is what carries you through when motivation vanishes, when belief wavers, when the world seems against you. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is a tool. Resilience is the engine. Without it, you will collapse at the first storm. With it, you will walk through fire and come out stronger. But resilience is not built in comfort. It is built in the furnace of trials. It is built in the dark nights when nothing works, when the world laughs, when you question everything. It is built when you have every reason to quit, and you do not. Those nights are your training. Those rejections are your sharpening. Those failures are your forging. So never curse the storm. Never curse the struggle. Thank it. Embrace it. Because the storm is sculpting you into the kind of person who can carry the weight of greatness. Without it, you would remain soft, fragile, untested. With it, you become unbreakable, and the world cannot deny an unbreakable soul. Gratitude becomes your greatest weapon here. Not gratitude when life is easy. Anyone can be thankful then. True gratitude is giving thanks for the challenge, for the pain, for the fire, because you understand that all of it is building you. Gratitude transforms bitterness into fuel. It transforms pain into perspective. It transforms obstacles into opportunities. The man who curses the storm remains a victim. The man who blesses the storm becomes a conqueror. Gratitude keeps your spirit alive while the world tests you. It reminds you that everything, even the hardship, is part of your preparation. Gratitude is the anchor when the winds of despair try to pull you under. So when you wake, give thanks not just for the victories, but for the battles. Not just for the friends, but for the enemies. Not just for the light, but for the darkness that taught you to shine. This mindset, bro, is untouchable. Because when you are grateful, even in struggle, life cannot defeat you. And when gratitude fuses with resilience, something extraordinary happens. You stop seeing failure as the end. You see it as feedback. Every loss becomes a lesson. Every mistake becomes a map. Every setback becomes a stepping stone. The world sees defeat. You see instruction. The world says, "It's over." You say, "Not yet." This is the mindset of the indestructible. The mindset of the men and women who leave legacies that outlive them. They are not untested, not unbroken, not untouched by pain. They are simply unwilling to surrender, and that, bro, is the mark of greatness. Not talent, not luck, not connections, but refusal. The refusal to retreat, refusal to be crushed, refusal to let the back door exist. There comes a point on every journey where the world grows quiet. The noise fades, the distractions fall away, and you are left face to face with yourself. No crowd, no applause, no validation, just you, your vision, and the truth. It is in these moments that destiny is forged, because greatness does not come when everyone believes in you. It comes when no one does, and you still believe. This is where most give up, when the road grows lonely, when the results take longer than expected, when the applause turns into silence. They look for the back door. They whisper, "Maybe this isn't meant for me. Maybe I should play it safe." And in that moment, they surrender their crown. But not you. You will remember the law that has carried giants across centuries. Success has no back door. You must become comfortable with loneliness, because loneliness is the companion of vision. Edison was alone in his lab. Lincoln was alone in his doubts. Carnegie was alone in his ambitions. Disney was alone in his dreams. If you feel isolated in your pursuit, take comfort, you are walking the same path they walked. The path of pioneers is always narrow, always steep, always solitary. But it is the path that changes the world. As you keep walking, something begins to shift. Your habits harden into character. Your struggles shape into wisdom. Your wounds transform into weapons. And one day, the same people who doubted you will look back and call you unstoppable. Not because you were born different, but because you chose differently. You chose not to retreat. You chose not to quit. You chose not to betray the vision that burned inside you. This is what it means to master yourself. To control your mind so it cannot betray you. To discipline your body so it cannot enslave you. To direct your spirit so it cannot be broken. Self-mastery is the final frontier. When you master yourself, nothing outside of you can control you. No failure can define you. No critic can diminish you. No setback can stop you. You become the fortress. Unsacabile, immobile, unstoppable, bro. Understand this. Wealth is not money first, it is mastery. Success is not trophies, first it is mastery. Freedom is not circumstances, first it is mastery. Master your thoughts, and the world cannot chain you. Master your habits, and success cannot avoid you. Master your emotions, and no storm can drown you. But self-mastery is not a one-time event. It is a lifetime commitment. You must win the morning before you win the day. You must win the day before you win the year. You must win the year before you win the decade. Each small victory is a brick in the empire you are building. Each act of discipline is a thread in the tapestry of your legacy. So rise early, speak boldly, act decisively, persist endlessly, give generously, adapt swiftly, learn constantly, because each of these is a weapon in the arsenal of mastery, and the man who wields them cannot be stopped. As you march forward, never forget gratitude. Gratitude is the compass that keeps your heart aligned even when the climb grows brutal. Gratitude reminds you that even the fight is a gift, that even the scars are proof you dared, that even the weight is proof you were chosen to carry it. A life without gratitude rots, no matter how much it gains. A life with gratitude flourishes, even in struggle. And so, your story is being written right now, not in some distant future, not in some safe tomorrow, but here, in this moment. Each choice you make chisels your destiny into stone. Will you choose comfort or courage, retreat or advance, excuse or execution? Remember, there is no back door. Life will not wait. The door is before you now. Enter or be crushed. One day, the world will tell your story. They will say you were relentless. They will say you were fearless. They will say you refused to quit when quitting was the only logical choice. They will say you were different. But you will know the truth: you were not different. You were decisive. You were disciplined. You were faithful to the vision that chose you. And when the crown of destiny rests upon your head, when the fruits of wealth, freedom, and purpose fill your life, you will look back at the battles, the nights, the sacrifices, and you will whisper to yourself the words that carried you through. Success has no back door. I entered, and I was not crushed. I endured. I conquered. I became